What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Pennsylvania Avenue on the College Avenue channel. This is a show slash podcast where we talk about news, politics, and the history of the world. We got a bunch of awesome. We got one topic and then history because we wanted to be prepared. So next episode, we will be prepared. But before we get into that, go ahead and like the video, go ahead and share, subscribe. Know that we do this on YouTube, and we do audio versions of it as well. So if you're, for some reason, listening on audio or YouTube, there you go. There's another option for you. But yeah, so we're going to talk about Kennedy resigning as one of the Supreme, is it Chief Justice?
Supreme Court. No, he was not Chief Justice.
Okay, yeah, Supreme Court Justice. Yeah. And then we're going to talk about history, and that's pretty much it. And then we have a shout out to our first person that's ever commented on our video. I forgot how to say his last name.
Robert Bettina.
Robert Bettina. Shout out to you, man. Thank you for being the first ever person on commenting on
any of our shows.
Well, any of our shows, but specifically, we're going to do it for every single one that happens for...
So, first person to comment on Pennsylvania Avenue.
Pennsylvania Avenue. So, thank you very much. Hope you come back for some more and disagree with us or agree with us. We got a first dislike, by the way.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. High five.
Yes.
Got a first dislike, man. That's important.
Yeah.
That's important. But yeah. So, thank you very much. Even though, is it supporting? Yeah, it's supporting. Yeah. We're getting we're getting criticism.
Feedback. No, you gave us feedback. Yeah,
okay,
that's good.
It's fine. Cool.
Use it to make our show better.
Yes, thank you. But moving on. Let's move on to Chief Justice. This is more of a discuss. Oh no, wait, no, we're not. We're gonna do history first. Never mind. Sorry, I'm stupid.
We can do whatever order you want. I'm
All
just,
right.
just looking good.
This week in history. Stop questioning me.
All right.
So we're gonna go from June 24th to June 30th, which is correct. That's right. That's the right order we're going in, right? Yeah.
It is the right order.
So June 24th, on this day, we're going to 1997, the U.S. aircraft report on Roswell, which happened like 40 years before New Mexico, where
okay.
we actually came out and announced that. We opened up those documents to the public, which spawned all these crazy it probably gave all those weird alien people like me sometimes, but kind of a new rebirth. Oh, it's real! Aliens are real! That stuff. A lot of weird, interesting stuff that came out of that with the newspaper article and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to get into that a little bit, there's a cool. I don't know if you like crazy people, but Joe Rogan had Tom DeLonge on, and Tom DeLonge goes specifically into the Roswell one. Not talk about all the other stuff. He talks about the Roswell one. It was kind of interesting. He has some weird stuff I never knew about, but pretty cool.
Okay.
1679, King Philip's War begins. I forgot to look up which exact war this was. I read it.
I want to say Spain.
Yeah, I think it was. 1812, Napoleon's Grand Army. Is that an M? Or is it any R?
Napoleon's Grand Army invades Russia.
I didn't know you could spell army like that.
You put this together, not me.
I understand that. But from here, it looks like it's like an M. I can't. M? That's what I'm saying.
All right, well.
I'm sorry. Maybe I should just read off of this. Okay.
That's why I have it out.
I understand that now. I'm stupid. But yeah, invades Russia, and then he gets his...
How'd that go for you, Napoleon?
Yeah, well, he was pretty strategic in how he set it all up in the sense of down to rations and for each soldier. It was kind of interesting.
How did that go for you,
Anyways,
Napoleon? Y'all died in the snow.
A lot of people died on the way back.
In the snow.
Picasso's expedition in Paris on 1902. He was 19 at the time.
Dang.
Yeah, so that was his first just art opening, I guess, period. June 25th, 1876, Battle of Little Bighorn, which was it was before Custer, right? Pretty sure.
Mm-hmm.
It was, and then as a result, Custer's Last Stand was a result of this, which is probably not that far behind from. We're probably going to find that eventually. 1942, Eisenhower takes command. I forgot who.
I remember who stepped down.
Yeah, it was a weird process.
Yeah.
And then like Patton was like all pissed off
Yes.
too about this.
Yeah.
1993, Kim Campbell takes office, which is I think the first Prime Minister of Canada.
Okay.
So I don't think it was the first woman in a position like this, but I think first woman to take Prime Minister of Canada. Okay. 2009. This is all for the music fans. King of Pop, obviously Michael Jackson, died at the age of 50. And then his dad just passed away not too long ago too, like literally this week. Ago. Yeah, it was kind of weird how that happened. June 26, 1948, the U.S. begins the Berlin airlift. Where I looked all this stuff at, like it was like the next. I don't know, like it said that like the next day after this one, like, it started. So I'm not too sure if it's the exact day. So maybe it was like a midnight thing where it started at like 11 or something like that, but they consider it did happen the next day or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, so basically, if you don't know what the Berlin airlift is, it's an Allied. After World War II, the city of Berlin was divided into 4 sections, but split in half between the Soviets and the Western, like European powers and the United States. And so obviously, the Russians were implementing basically communism into like all of the territory that they took after World War II, and so the U.S. were dropping supplies using I think they were C-47s to drop supplies into Eastern Berlin to help people out over there.
Yeah, and then like it was like I think like throughout like after that like the one of the best places not one of the best but like qualities of life was actually in Berlin for some reason, like West Berlin.
Yeah.
And that's why I got a lot of people legends over the wall. 1541, conquerors of Incas assassinated. I don't know. I forgot to look this one up, but I just saw that and I thought it was interesting.
Wasn't Cortez, was it?
Maybe like the Spanish Inquisition. Is that what we're thinking?
That is not the Inquisition in South America.
Yeah, never mind.
Spanish Inquisition happened in Spain.
Yeah,
very different thing.
Yeah, 1945 UN Charter signed. I don't know. I forgot that one. You know what that
it was the creation of the United Nations, no?
We'll double check that.
Okay. Because before it was the League of Nations following World War I.
But I think that fell apart after.
Yeah, that didn't exist anymore. There wasn't anything for a little while.
Yeah.
And then the UN started.
Okay. St. Lawrence Seaway opened. I don't know what that is either. I just put that in. It was in the general interest, alright? This one's weird. I forgot this is the one I really wanted to go back and look up, was Clinton's pushes Iraq for a plot to kill Bush. I was like...
Punishes Iraq or Bush?
Oh, punishes, my bad, sorry. Oh, never mind. Sorry. I misread. Fuck, I don't know how to read. Jesus. But yeah, I think that's... I want to look into that. That's kind of interesting. It sounds interesting.
I'm pretty sure that's H.W. Bush, right? Not
yeah. Former U.S. Senator Strom Thurmond dies. I forgot what this guy did.
I'm sorry.
What did I say?
No. Continue.
I looked at all this stuff and I forgot what it was. I should have double checked. I'm sorry. Jesus.
All right.
I mean, we can like look it up right now, I guess. I mean, I think I have a link. While I look at that, then like,
all right.
I'll find what this. I know what I. Shut up.
All right. June 27th, 1950. President Truman orders United States forces to Korea. So the beginning of the Korean War. June 27th, 1844. Mormon leader killed by mob. Do you have any context for that one?
That one happened in New York, apparently. The guy that started, the original guy that started Mormonism wasn't
like Brigham Young.
Yeah, but no, I think Brigham Young was his brother, and he got him killed somehow in a mob, and then that's why Brigham Young went to Utah.
Okay.
So like, yeah, it didn't. The original guy that started that was killed by his brother. His brother then used his religion or whatever he did. What he started. Like he was a disciple, I guess, something like that.
All right.
Some weird stuff.
June 28th, 1953, for all you gearheads out there, workers began assembling the very first Corvette in Flint, Michigan. Obviously, a very famous car that still has lived on to this day. And obviously, highly collectible, classic. A lot of those Corvettes are classic collectible cars. Classic. June 28th, 1519, Charles is elected Holy Roman Emperor. June 28th, 1914, the Archduke Ferdinand is assassinated. This is kind of the spark that started World War I. Kind of a weird scenario how World War I got going. So basically all of the countries that were involved had treaties with each other to get involved or to back each other in like a military fashion. And so once the Archduke was assassinated by a Serbian national, I think was it Russia that started? It was like Russia declared war on Germany, and because Russia and France had an alliance, so France had to declare war on Germany, and then Austria, and then like Germany and Austria had an alliance, so like once the Austrian Archduke was killed, like Germany got involved, and it was this whole like snowball effect of countries. Like it was basically a series of treaties that led to World War I, because everyone was obligated to go to war once their allies went to war. Or was I? Lost my spot here. June 28th, 1919. Keynes predicts economic chaos. Do you remember the context for that one?
Oh, which one?
Keynes.
Keynes. Remember taking economics?
I do remember taking economics. I didn't remember this dude.
That's the guy that came up with like the new like short-term. What do you call it?
Like supply demand
sorry.
stuff? Or?
Yeah, but like like long term and then short term. Like I forgot what you call it.
Okay. All right.
I don't.
Some economic things happened in 1919.
Yeah.
June 28th, 1969, the Stonewall riots begin. June 29th, 1955, U.S. space shuttle docks with Russian space station. Was that the first time that this had happened?
What?
Like a space shuttle docking? I guess it would have been right after, right around the time of the fall of the Soviet Union. So kind of a big deal, kind of geopolitically.
Like, oh, we're friends.
I guess, yeah. June 29th, 1941, Germans advance into the Soviet Union, breaking the Molotov pact that they had made when both of those nations invaded Poland on September 1st, 1939, kicking off World War II. Obviously, one of those things that maybe if Hitler had just been a little bit patient and not opened up a second front like that, definitely probably would have helped them militarily anyway. And we were talking earlier about Napoleon invading Russia. Germany also tried to invade Russia. It took them many years, obviously, but not necessarily in his best interest either. Didn't really work out that well. June 29th, 1966, the Vietnam War really got going. The U.S. started escalating the war in Vietnam. June 29th, 1972, Supreme Court strikes down the death penalty. June 29th, 1974, Isabella Perón takes office as Argentine president.
That's the first female.
First female Argentinian president?
Yes.
June 30th, 1936, Gone with the Wind was published. And obviously is also a very famous movie. I think if I remember correctly, Gone with the Wind is the first movie where there's like a swear word in it.
It's the OG chick flick.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. June 30th, 1520, the Spanish retreat from the Aztec capital, which would have been Tenochtitlan, which is Mexico City, I believe, today. June 30th, 1859, Daredevil crosses Niagara Falls on a tightrope. Didn't he have a net below him, though?
I can double check.
I feel like he had a net below him. So it's still cool that he did it. Obviously, he didn't fall, but there wasn't that element of danger.
I don't know. I'd be like, put a net down there, dude.
Well, I know, but I know.
Going back to St. Lawrence Seaway, it was during World War II, the path from England through the Atlantic through to the Great Lakes.
Oh, okay.
And then Clinton just threw a bunch of tomahawks at the Iraqis from warships, basically. After that, because Bush was going to celebrate in Kuwait on the Persian Gulf War, and then what was the other one I looked up? There was one before that. Thurmond. He was a D-Day veteran, and he participated in D-Day, and then after that, after the war, became a politician, became South Carolina's governor.
Oh, okay.
I'm looking up Kenyans. I don't think that's how you. I think it's you say something else, say it differently.
I don't know. I didn't put this together.
But in 1918 or 1919, he came out with the Economics Consequences of Peace, and it kind of was a result of all of like the Treaty of Versailles in World War One.
Kind of sounds like this was the birth of like modern economics.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I'm not seeing what I remember from taking that economics class that went over him and talked about him. His ideas at the time were very just like a newer idea that a lot of people ignored and didn't really credit him, unfortunately, with until like later on.
Okay.
I think like not too far though.
Last couple here. June 30th, 1934 is the Night of the Long Knives. Is that a German thing?
That's a German thing. That's when they went through and like took over and like rioted through like Jewish businesses. That's right. I think there's obviously casualties in that as well.
Oh really? I thought that was called the Night of Broken Glass.
Or what? I think they say it differently. Wait, what was that one said?
This one says the Night of Long Knives. I thought that what you're talking about there, I thought was called the Night of Broken Glass, where like they went to like Jewish businesses.
Well,
and
that
like,
was June 30th, right?
Yeah, June 30th, 1934.
I got you. Is that it?
There's one more. June 30th, 1971. Soviet cosmonauts perish in re-entry disaster. So yeah, obviously one of the dangers we've had it happen in the U.S. multiple times. It's like losing shuttles and such. So obviously, if anything goes wrong, you don't really have the opportunity to fix it. You kind of just have to take your chances on re-entry. Mm-hmm. It's either that or stay out in space, right? You can float off into space.
You want to breathe?
So yeah. So that is. We're gonna look up the Night of Long Knives real quick before we move on. But that's been our This Week in History. So let us know in the comments if any of these stand out to you, or if we skipped over anything that happened over the last week. Again, we were looking at June 24th through June 30th.
Sandy Koufax threw a no-hitter on the 28th.
Okay.
From what I remember.
Go Dodgers. Arguably one of the best pitchers of all time.
I think I'm not seeing it where it says what you said, the Night of Broken
Glass.
Yeah, I'm not seeing that, but it's still like a Nazi-related activity.
Yeah, I thought it was. Yeah.
Sorry, workers' rights exchange for. I think it's basically like a total just like taking away citizenship of like.
It was okay. I think I have it here. So June 30th, 1934 was the Night of Long Knives, and the National Socialist German Workers' Party, which is the Nazis, carried out a series of political executions intended to consolidate Hitler's absolute hold on power in Germany. So basically, they killed a bunch of people from other political parties. Sturma, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that German name. But many of those killed were from the SA, which was a paramilitary organization. Ernest Röhm was the leader of that group. So basically, the Nazis went around killing people that disagreed with them, and this gave them like total political control in the Reichstag, basically. So yeah, the Night of Broken Glass is a different thing. It was like basically when I think it was like when it first became basically illegal to be Jewish in Germany, and so they went around ransacking Jewish businesses and such like that.
Yeah,
so.
Which sucks.
Yeah,
but yeah. Like what Jacob said, let us know, and then let us know how bad we did too. Sorry about that.
It's all good. It's all good.
I look at this and then like I'm like, I can't. I should just refreshed before we started, like because we did undrafted and then
You just like make some notes instead of just the date.
Yeah, I will.
It's all good.
It's all good. At least I tried.
A for effort.
A for effort. Thank you. Yeah, moving on to the last thing we're going to talk about is our discussion of the show, which is about Kennedy. What's his first name? Is it David?
Anthony.
Anthony?
Anthony Kennedy.
Are you sure about that?
Nope. Actually, I'm like 95%.
I felt like it was like a David or a John. No, not a John. No, I think it was a David. But anyways, he's stepping down as a. It's not. We said it wasn't Chief Justice, but a Supreme Court. Okay. Justice that recently happened. He's been like the swing vote kind of guy.
Yes.
Which is like interesting because like Bush had 2 that he replaced.
Mm-hmm.
Obama had 2, but they didn't have 2. Like a lot of people are saying how lucky Obama or Trump is getting because he got 2 swing justices for his 2, and it's also been only a year and a half into his presidency as well.
Right.
So I'm not saying like he's gonna get another one, but like do you know the reason why he stepped down at all? Just age?
No, he's 80. He's 81 now.
Okay, age.
He didn't. Well, he's not the oldest justice on the court. So like you were saying, Trump's had 2 in a year and a half. I think if he's reelected, there will likely be a third. I think that either there'll be like another Republican that will step down, possibly. So because you're looking at another like 6.5 years, and a couple of the justices are in their 80s, so you might end up with a third. There are a lot of people that are obviously upset that he has chosen to step down
at this
during Trump's presidency, and even had he waited one more term, like this time next year, it would have been quite possible that the House or the Senate would have changed hands in the midterm elections, and so that would have obviously impacted who could have replaced him. Because as it stands right now, Mitch McConnell came out this morning or yesterday, and basically said that like they're going to hold the vote in the fall when Congress gets back from their summer recess, which is I think normally the month of August. So the vote's going to be coming. It looks like it's going to be coming before the midterms, and the Democrats will not be able to stop. But so Trump can basically appoint whoever he wants, as long as like he gets Republican support, which I expect that he will, obviously.
Yeah.
So it's really big. I think as far as Anthony, sorry to cut you off there. No, as far as Anthony Kennedy himself, he'll probably be best remembered, or most remembered for what he did for gay marriage in the United States. That was really like his main accomplishment.
Yeah, I think that was that, and then there was a decision on like a 17-year-old immigrant girl for like an abortion or something like that. I made a decision. I don't know what the decision was, but I remember hearing about that, and I just know that he had a say into that one as well.
Okay.
But yeah, that's one that we talked about, the gay marriage one, which I feel like I know, or I don't understand why people are worried about that, like having that being swung or being like.
They're not going to overturn that. They're like, I don't understand why people are not going to overturn. I don't believe they're going to overturn Roe v. Wade. Like I just don't see that happening at this point. And I think what's most interesting. There was Ben Shapiro talked about this on his show the other day about how a lot of that maybe what drew Kennedy to choose to retire now was that like the Supreme Court's been really active for the last couple of weeks. There's been numerous kind of controversial decisions that have been handed down, and most of these decisions had a direct correlation to the First Amendment. And so historically, Anthony Kennedy was kind of the swing vote one way or the other. And I think what the point that Ben Shapiro was making was that he saw 4 votes in cases that he felt were direct violations of the First Amendment. And like 4 people on the Supreme Court voted basically against, or like they were going to rule against the First Amendment, as far as like religious freedom in the case of like the cake thing, and then compelled speech in the public sector unions and stuff like that. So he felt that it was best to step down now because otherwise we would see like if he was replaced with like if he had stepped down during the Obama administration, like the 5-4 vote would have been against the Constitution, against the First Amendment, basically. basically, is what he was seeing. So perhaps he felt it best that he steps down now, where that 5-4 vote will still be in favor of at least his opinion of the First Amendment.
Yeah, I listened to Ben's show today, and it's not like we're total like we follow Ben's like every like kind of political view, but like he made a lot of interesting just talks on how how much power the Supreme Court's has had in recent years, and how like the bigger decisions that they shouldn't be making in a way, in the sense of like the court, or just like decisions where like Democrats, or in like the recent history or recent times, is where they can't get something passed in Congress, so but then their last resort is to go to Supreme Court to favor gay marriage in a way, which I think it's not that it should be a law, but it should be something like written down to where like it's a law in a way. You know what I mean? Like, not saying like this. I don't know. Like, I'm coming from like a left, I think, on that, just because like I understand why, but it's just like it's weird to talk about it, I guess. And it's another thing too, is that like how the next guy, or even the guys in question, or in as judges or justices, whatever you want to call them, that how a lot of them don't get asked just like questions, just simple questions like their decisions on like Roe v. Wade, or just past court decisions, and what they think, and like it's not allowed to like, or they just the questions like aren't being asked or something like that. And I was just like, it's interesting how like that's all like played in like the political world, but it is interesting to see how you saw these like especially this past week with the cake and what was the other one?
It was the unions, the
union,
voter rights.
Yeah, the union one. How like a lot of people are like expecting the justices to go with what people are the majority, like not majority, or just what people feel emotionally right, but it's not right towards to what the Constitution says.
Right, but like basically, I feel like however you feel about the decisions that were made, the job of the justices is not to give their it's their opinion of the Constitution, I guess technically, but their powers that they are given are to read the Constitution and apply that to whatever law is in front of them, and that is what they did. And that can't really be disputed.
Yeah, but like
regardless of how you feel about the decision.
Yeah, exactly. But like the thing is too is like what I'm saying is that like now it's coming to where like you can't get anything done in Congress, so now they're gonna swing it, like they're gonna throw some kind of case in there to where you have.
Well, that's exactly what happened with like gay marriage.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. So like that's why the Supreme Court has a lot more power than what it should, because people can't get stuff done in Congress, or certain stuff in Congress, and that's why you get like. I think that's why Democrats are like, or both sides are like, this is like a bigger thing than what it is, because the way politics works these days, it actually is, unfortunately, but it shouldn't be that way.
Right. I feel there was a senator that came out today and said that like basically the Supreme Court is like an arm of the Republican Party, and like I don't know, as a Republican myself, like full disclosure, I don't know what history he's been watching for the last 30 years, because the Supreme Court has been like pretty left. This is the first time, like with whoever Trump appoints, I assume will be like probably more conservative than Anthony Kennedy was. This will be the first time in decades that there's a Republican majority on the Supreme Court. Like I don't know what history that particular, I forget the senator's name. Like I don't know what history he's talking about, and a lot of people are like basically saying that the sky is falling. That like, and like don't get me, like this is big, because whoever, barring any significant health developments, like whoever is appointed right now is going to be on the court for the next like 30 years, like a generation of people. Yeah, this is going to be like that person's going to be a justice. My thing is like I don't care what their politics is at all. I just want someone that's going to go in there and do what they're supposed to do, and like literally, like I said, what we were talking about, like they apply the Constitution to the situation. Yeah, and like that's all I want, because if that happens, then there's no like, oh, he's left leaning or he's right leaning. No, he's in favor of the Constitution over anything else.
regardless of like if it makes other people feel bad or like that.
I think unfortunately it has become a right or left thing. I would say that like as
I know.
far like what you're describing is what
It's fantasy.
I would say is, like textualist or originalist, where like they just read the document and like this is what the document says and like that's it. It's like not really open to too much interpretation, and like that kind of has become a right and left thing. People who are conservative tend to be originalists, and like the more liberal judges on the court tend to be like making interpretations and like trying to broaden potential meanings of the Constitution and not just taking it at its word. Kind of thing. So it kind of has become a political tool.
I guess. Well, the guy I would want then would be conservative. Then, or
right.
Well, basically,
I would want someone. I would want someone who's like an originalist.
Well, because I mean, read the Federalist Papers. So that's another thing. Go read, guys. I wasn't about to say that. Did I say the F word? A little bit.
You almost did, but it's not the first time today. So
yeah, I don't know. It's an issue. Like the guy that posted that little post that I showed you earlier. And how like he feels like it's getting dark and everyone needs to like put their Nazi suits on. I'm like,
to either put their Nazi suits on or report to the nearest death camp.
Yeah, like I don't see how like I mean they probably see how the rights are like they're Nazis or something like that. But I'm like
that stance doesn't stand up. With any factual.
And then like when you see the like
even what's happening at the border.
Yeah, and you see what's going on with the people getting harassed like that are working for Trump or in the Trump cabinet. Like that's more Nazi-ish tactic. It's not they're being Nazis, but what the Nazis did, like what we just read off the history thing. They're not killing people, but they started by harassing people, and that's the point. Is that when you kind of overstep the boundary because you're getting too emotional about it, and that's another thing too. It's like Ben said, like, the way you change this, the way you want this to work for yourself is you vote for the person you want, in a way. You know what I mean? You go out there and you get out there and get active. I mean, unfortunately, you have to get active politically, but you have to go out there and make sure that the person you want in office that has an effect, and that's for you, and it's not for someone. I mean, obviously, we live in California, so anyone you vote for is they're going to be probably a Democrat, so it's not really matter.
I don't know. There's a Republican on the ballot for governor this year.
I know, but we'll see.
Which is in its own way a miracle.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, because remember you said that. But no, it was a senator. You said senator? I forgot what it was.
No, it's coming. It's
No. You said like we were looking at the ballots, and like you were talking about how like there was a Republican guy in there, and you're like, good luck or something like that. I forgot.
Oh no, it was it was a Rubin Report guest, and he was a Republican running for Senate in the state of California.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And it was like, good luck, bud.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. It's good to be able to talk about this, but then to be able to walk away and maybe we might bring it back up. But the more important thing is like, what do you guys think about this? Like, we're coming from like the right perspective. I feel like I'm not saying you're more right than I am, but I feel like in certain situations I'm more right than you. But I feel like I just want someone that's gonna work so like people stop bitching about it and they feel more comfortable with the decision, because like you said, it's a whole generation coming up.
Yeah, it's like 30. Like without any like major health problems, whoever's appointed will probably serve it at least 30 years. Like I think Anthony Kennedy was like 38 years, even, or 35 to 38 years, something like that. So I mean, this is a pretty big deal. And
then I don't like the argument too is like how like these justices should be like elected officials from us, and I think that defeats the purpose of like that in a way. Do you think? What do you think about that?
I'm not really sure. I guess I haven't really thought about it too much.
Because I mean, we changed obviously the Senate to, because the Senate used to be elected by the House.
I think
Right? Is that right? Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was very early though. But it was like 1700s. Like first few Congresses were like that.
No, I think it changed in like the 1800s. I have to double check the date. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, but like the first like 3 or 4.
Okay, yeah, but going back to this one.
Anyway, I don't know. They kind of basically already elected, like by proxy, just like because the people that put them there are elected. So I don't really know that you need a direct election.
Yeah, because that's what I'm saying. A lot of people are like saying like that's the. Oh, I hear people say stuff like that.
It would open a whole can of worms because you'd have to you'd then have to set terms maybe. Probably. You'd have to set terms for the justice seats.
And then that, I don't know.
I don't know. It would maybe, but I don't really see it. You'd have to make districts for like the justices. There have to be justices from like every part of the country, probably. I don't know.
It's more people you have to pay.
Not really. We're already paying them.
You just said you had to add more justices.
What? No. You have to add more districts for for voting purposes.
Oh, that's right. Okay, never mind.
Because like you have to separate. Because like in California, like there's 2 Senate districts or whatever, where it's like we vote for like one of the 2, not both.
Yeah. Okay. I get what you're saying. I got it. I'm stupid.
Same with the House seat. Whatever. Yeah.
You gotta explain it to me, but I understand.
There's a whole bunch of things that would have to happen if we were to introduce an election for that. And I don't really see that going through all that trouble would like be a benefit. Mm. Like would be a better system than we already have.
I think one thing is really important these days too is probably I think the most important, Phil, in any kind of conversation like this. It doesn't matter about changing someone's mind, but I think it matters more about understanding what the other person's saying. And I feel like a lot happens that like people don't get that part. And, like that's what like most of my conversations I have that are like this is trying to understand the other person and what they're coming from, and understanding why they're saying that, but like not having to agree with them in a way, or walking away and like saying like, oh, like you changed my mind. I think that's one thing I wanted to say.
Yeah,
but yeah,
that's something that doesn't happen often.
Yeah, so yeah, go out there and don't just argue. Understand why they're arguing, or why the other person's arguing with you. If that helps you out, gives you more, not ammo, but it help you
understanding.
Yeah,
awareness, understanding.
Yeah. This is an interesting Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
I'm glad we did it. And then we're gonna go through the court cases the next time we go through this.
Yeah.
But yes, I am going to outro this right now. That's been Pennsylvania Avenue. I'm sorry if that was a little boring. We mean, I don't know. Like, we were just talking. This is what we usually do. We just decided to start recording ourselves while we do it and to talk to you guys. Are we being too biased? Let us know. If you're someone out there that's on the left that wants their voice to be heard, let us know. We want to have civil discourse and to be able to understand. I want to understand the left a little bit more on why they're scared about this. I want to understand that. Obviously, look at the news. I'm like, no, tell me what that is, and you leave it down in the comments down below. Thank you to Robert again. We'll see you hopefully in the comments. And we are done. Know that we have this on YouTube and in audio. Go ahead and like, share, subscribe on all those services. I've been Richard Rodillo.
I'm Jacob Boyd.
And we'll see you next time on Pennsylvania Avenue.